Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot and very happy to be here today. So I have Anthony Zender with me and what's happening here? Hello? Okay, I think he's still here. I don't know. Looks like we might have got disconnected. So Anthony, are you there? Hello? Hello? Anthony? Hello? Okay. Sorry, everyone. Don't know what's going on here. He was here a minute ago. See if I take my earphones off, if that helps. Hello? Okay, I'm going to have to call him back. Hold on. Not sure what's going on here.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, are you there now? So we got disconnected?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do this again. So, hi everyone. I'm Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot, and here with Anthony Zender. And Anthony, go ahead and please say something so we know we've got your audio properly.
Okay. Yeah. I'm definitely here. I just noticed it cut out, but that's what happens in these things. So
Okay, fair enough. So I guess the people in the chat will let us know if everything is okay from here on out. And it sounds like your sound is fine at my end. So let's just proceed. So Anthony is a super soldier. I've interviewed him in the past, and it's great to see you again, Anthony, and have you on my show again. Could you give yourself a bit of a background here so that people that haven't seen my previous interview or know of you will understand who you are?
I will. And thank you, Carrie. It's good to be on the show, and I had that plan anyway because definitely understanding what a super soldier is part of the truth coming out, which is all coming out right now. And basically, in my life, as a child, I was abducted by the government at 6 years old. And that was in what is called Operation Green Star. And that is a CIA operation that abducts children. Um, man.
Hello?
Hello, are we still there?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Oh, I thought something's going on. I thought we got cut off, but anyways, Operation Green Star is a CI operation that was uh, created to abduct children with certain genetic traits for eugenics, and part of the treaty with the breakaway civilization was letting them abduct children, with the genetics to turn them into super soldiers, which is what happened to me at when I came in because of my genetic traits of being extraterrestrial, a hybrid, and basically at 6 years old I got taken, and those memories are now coming back because with the technology they have the ability to erase memories and suppress them, but the memory is remained in the soul. So those people that have access to their akashic records and their soul memories, these things will start coming back for them, which is like 5% of the people that have been involved in what's known as military abductions. And at 6 years old, I was taken to deep underground military bases, and experiments were done on me by the government and extraterrestrials. Implants were put in me. What they call the black goo was put in me, and basically I was turned into a super soldier, and my whole life was basically groomed to make me go into the military and experience a military career, in this life. And because I had, government involvement in my life, very targeted, because I am a targeted individual, but people were moved into my life to basically what I like to call the Adjustment Bureau, because the government has a secret space program, and they're involved with adjusting people's lives. And they moved in basically a family of 3 pilots that were all training to be military pilots into my life, to be with my mother.
Okay, now,
And
Anthony, sorry to interrupt you here. Just want to let you know that for some reason the Skype is frozen. I'm not sure why. So I'm not sure how crucial it is, that you're in motion, but it would be nice, obviously. Do you see that your photo or your Skype is frozen? Do you see that?
yeah, I'm not seeing anything on my end to see my picture. So
Oh, all right. Well, I'm not sure what we can do about that at the moment, unless we can try hanging up and calling you again. Do you want to try that?
oh yeah, whatever works.
Okay, so stand by, and I'll just to see if we can get the video going. All right. So I'll call you right back.
Hello.
Okay. So that's great. So now I see you, and you are in motion again. So continue. So you were saying that you had some sort of individuals that accompanied you when you were young.
So much involved in it. I'm just trying to get it all out and make all the connections. Because as a child, my grandfather was involved in secret projects. He designed the SR-71 Blackbird engine, was involved in propulsion systems, lasers, and all the secret space program stuff, but he couldn't talk about it. And that definitely, our whole family's involved in it. But basically, when I was getting taken throughout my childhood years, I was having abduction experiences, but not actually being able to remember them. And I would have bloody noses and things like that. But basically, I was all grooming and all that stuff to then have me be a super soldier when I was 16 years old, is when I first started service. And that was basically my whole childhood, was grooming me to be a black ops, super soldier involved in the secret space program.
Okay. So we're having some weird things going on here. All right, Anthony. Now, at this point, you wanted to come back on my show because you wanted to talk about some new experiences, and we're going to assume that people that are interested can also go to our previous interview to get more detail about your early life. But since we last talked, I think various things have happened to you, and you also want to share some information about the Illuminati and exposing things that you've become aware of. So why don't we do that and start out with newest experiences now?
Yeah, that sounds good, because obviously in this time, like focusing on what is the most relevant thing that's going on is what's important. And it's very clear right now that there is something more going on than meets the eye. And this was the time that was prophesized, and even in the mystery schools that I'm in, years ago, they were talking about this time. They couldn't reveal actually what it was that's going to be happening. But because obviously, no one really knows how the future is going to unfold until it unfolds. But they were warning us about this time, obviously, with what's going on with the COVID virus and all that stuff. I have a lot of information about that. But basically, yeah, I've been involved in a lot of things, and I'm basically involved with disclosure and bringing it out to the people, because in this time it was obviously seen that there were people are going to want answers about what's going on, and I do have the knowledge to be able to provide that. And I've been involved in a lot of missions lately, and in these missions, not only am I doing black operations, but I'm also involved in talking to like heads of executive of state and all these things that are going on, because what is going on right now is the cabal is getting taken down, and that's why we're in martial law. And basically, everybody's gonna see the arrests happen. That's what's getting ready to happen, because that's what's been happening behind the scenes. And obviously, this all has to do with the change of the government, of the world, and what is not known by the common masses, because of the mass mind control that's going on, which is part of their plan. Which in the steps of ascension, there's 3 steps. The first step is learning of the dark plan. And learning of the dark plan is obviously learning of what the real Illuminati, who are actually the ones that are fighting the elite and the dynastic societies that are responsible for the current world order that's going on. They're referred to as the old world order. And right now, they are all being taken down. And anyone can do research on that with all of these things shutting down and all of that, because the whole entire system is about to change.
Okay.
And
Well, in terms of all of that, Anthony, do you have any specifics in terms of what you know about the takedown, what you know about the arrests? So rather than generalities, because obviously, yes, people have heard there are going to be arrests. We've heard that certain individuals are being arrested. However, we don't really see evidence of that. So do you have any specific evidence or information that you can share with us in that regard?
I do, because I'm involved in this. I'm involved in taking them down, and I have memories coming back of of being involved in making people sign things like Nancy Pelosi. I've been involved in executive meetings where I've been involved in the tribunals. I've actually been there and seen it going on. I've been in the courtroom, and I knew that the tribunals were going on, and this is all going on behind the scenes. And I also have memories where I've been involved in black ops teams where they are going around the world, to various places and rounding up all these people. And just one memory that I have is actually going into Saudi Arabia, which is where one of the main points of this is going on, because of the human trafficking that's going on there, and all of that. And Trump is addressing that, obviously, now with the control of the military that he has, which the Secret Space Force is involved in that. And I have a memory of infiltrating the King's Tower, and anyone can look that up. It's in Saudi Arabia, and going in there and kidnapping, and basically taking in these people that are involved with all the satanic control that's been involved in controlling this world.
So Saudi Arabia, and you were there. So when you get these memories, are you getting them because in sort of a sleep situation, in a meditation situation, or can it just bleed through during the day? How does this all come to you?
Right. I'm a meditator. I was taught that in the mystery schools. I can meditate for as long as I want, and that's part of my memory recall. So when I do go to sleep, I obviously access other levels of consciousness, and what they do wipe from my memory. I'm actually remembering, and what it does come in dream situations, but it will be more real than real life. So basically, one of the movies, actually, that's a disclosure movie that's out right now, is called Bloodshot, and that's a new movie with Vin Diesel in it, and the whole thing is about what a super soldier is and how they do memory manipulation and memory erasal to basically keep reusing the super soldier over and over and over and over again. And another another disclosure show is the Dollhouse, which basically goes into how the super soldiers and what they're used for. They're programmed, and then their minds are erased after the mission is done. And the way that they do this is they are able to take consciousnesses and transfer them into clone bodies that they've made of the super soldier. Obviously, that was all done in an earlier phase, but the consciousnesses are transferred, and then the mind is programmed with whatever knowledge is needed for that mission, and then the super soldier is sent on that mission. And basically, my whole life, I have uncovered that this is what I'm remembering, is being on various missions, and with involved with basically taking down the current world order.
Okay, so I guess we're still having some weird audio things on. I put my earphones on, but there was issues with that as well. So I'll put them on again and see if we can get a clear audio sort of connection here. It may also be that other people are just having issues with their own computers or something. So, Anthony, are you there?
Sure.
Okay, so I think what you just said came through okay. It came through to me at any rate, and so we'll just see what goes on. So, in terms of the experiences that you're having, you're getting information coming back to you, and you believe you're out on missions. So do you think that you're on missions right now, for example, and have you had any exposure to the China Lake incident, for example?
Yes, I'm definitely currently being used for missions right now. I've been my whole entire life, and the thing is like sometimes, when I wake up in the morning, I will feel very exhausted and drained, and I will know that something has happened, and then the memories will start coming back. But basically, I am involved in missions right now because I am currently having meetings with Donald Trump, and that does have to do with the Palladian guidance that he is receiving right now. And I'm also, that's executive meetings, but I'm also having memory recalls of missions that I'm involved in on this earth and also interdimensionally, because this is an interdimensional temporal extraterrestrial war going on. but one of the missions that I recalled just recently was I was, because I'm always infiltrated into the dark side. You know what I'm saying? Into the dark corporations, which are people don't know this, but and they which are Monarch, Mobius, Umbrella, Massive Dynamics, and Ultimate. And these are all corporations that are interdimensional. And one of the missions I recalled was because right now what is going on is the COVID virus is basically a biochemical AI weapon that's been employed interdimensionally. So, I'm recalling missions where I'm involved in getting information about what's going on in these other places interdimensionally, and basically, when you're a spy, you're a lot of the times you're found out. Your cover's blown, and a lot of my missions, my cover's blown, and I have to escape. And one of the most recent memories was I was obviously in one of these corporations that are linked with DARPA. They are linked with DARPA in this reality. But I was involved in being involved in a mission there, and I had to escape, and I was getting shot at, and I had to get into an elevator, and the elevator door closed, and there were all sorts of bullets riddling through the elevator door, and I had to take cover against the wall in the elevator door, and then they cut the cord to the elevator, and then I fell like 100 stories or something because I was in a skyscraper, and it basically the elevator hit, and I was still alive because I was obviously in a super soldier body. And I got out of the elevator, and there were agents all around, people that were trying to take me out. And I started basically running up the sides of the wall and shooting everybody and killing them. And that's what a runner is capable of doing. And runners are Kruger super soldiers, which are their Kruger super soldiers are interdimensional, and they're from another dimension. And I've been over in that other dimension, and in that other dimension, everybody has psychic abilities. I've seen people levitate things. I've levitated things, but that's kind of what's playing out here. Is we're merging dimensions.
Okay, so do you know about the children? The rescues of children. Are you coming across any of that?
Yeah, it's funny that it's great that you actually asked that, Kerry, because I wanted to talk about that because I'm actually involved in that with Black Operations, and I've actually been involved in remembering memories about going into these underground bases and rescuing the children, and infiltrating the bases, and I have a lot of memories, but just recently I had a memory where I was in a camp and infiltrating the camp, and I basically had to, I was very hidden, and but someone found me out, and I had to take them out. But basically, when I had these memories, I then got a call from Peter the Insider, who is the director of the 12th Division of the ACIO, and Peter the Insider basically has the most information about what's going on right now. And in my search to find out the truth of what was going on, when I came across Peter the Insider, he told me everything I needed to know to actually know what was involved with me being a super soldier. So he basically just called me up and wanted to know something about what I remembered about a mission that was recently going on about rescuing the children, which Black Operations is calling it Rainbow 52. That's the name of the operation, and they are going in, and I've had it confirmed by very high sources that they are going in, and they are rescuing these children. And basically, the ships that are there, like the Mercy ships, are there to not for COVID patients. They're there to house all the children that they're rescuing.
Okay, so in terms of other things that are going on, like my understanding is the rescue of those children took place maybe even a month ago, but do you have like, I mean, the last, like, say, couple of weeks, have you noticed a change in what's going on? Because for one thing, Paladin reported that on lately on news conferences, the gold fringe is missing from the American flag. So are you aware of a change in that regard?
Yeah, no, there's nothing but change going on, and it's very clear that they're trying to in many different ways make that clear. And I've heard the Federal Reserve is gone. And now it's they switch it over. And what I know to be what they call the Nessera and Gessera is happening, because I've actually had memories of being involved with Donald Trump in the great the hidden city in China, and there was a celebration going on there, and the celebration was obviously for Nessera and Gessera actually being rolled out right now, which is obviously a whole new change of government, everything happening, which we can actually see is happening now, with this martial law being instilled on America.
All
Um,
right. Well, now
and
some people would say that we don't have martial law. It is true that they set it up. However, the only place that martial law, at least that I know of it recently, is obvious is Washington, D.C., where apparently 10,000 troops are reported to be. So we don't see them on the streets here. For a while, in the early days, we saw some tanks here in LA, down in San Diego, and they were photographed in other places. But my understanding is they were put into place but not activated. So what's your take on that?
yeah, thank you for asking me that, Kerry, because it's very clear that in America there it's kind of like a covert martial law that's happening, definitely, because all the jobs are out, all the businesses are out, everyone's out of work. People are starting to rise up in the Capitol buildings. I was just in Olympia. I actually saw a rise up for myself. And, in the mystery schools, that's what they taught now was people are going to rise up because they're going to want to know the truth about what's going on. And basically, yes, there are not tanks in the streets, but these places that people are starting to rise up, which the power is in the people, because basically the powers that be, which are the elite and the hierarchy that enslaves us, they know that the most valuable resource is the people, and so now the people are starting to rise up, and I mean there are people rising up, and there are police being which are now a military force, and it's going to be on the police now, whether they want to follow the orders that they're given or not. Because I was in the military, so I know what's going down. And in these places, they're even setting up snipers. Where there's they're arresting people, they're setting up snipers, and that's definitely an infringement, on the rights. So there is martial law definitely being instilled, and it's going to be more clear as time comes to pass.
Okay, and somebody in the chat is asking, what did Nancy Pelosi sign? Do you know anything about that?
Right. I do remember having a memory where I was involved in I was definitely making Nancy Pelosi sign something. But I believe that had to do with obviously these arrests that are happening, and because that's what I believe it had to do with.
Well, isn't the idea that she would be one of the people under arrest?
Oh, she is. That's what I'm saying. Is she definitely is one of the people that are going to Gitmo. They're already there. They're actually already there. See, the thing is like you said earlier, what you heard about the children happened a month ago. We're kind of like society is kind of behind schedule about what's really going on, and those people that are in the know are kind of in more knowledge of what's actually happening. But they have to roll it out a certain way, and that's what like I wanted to talk about QAnon and who QAnon is and how important QAnon is, because that's pretty much like the nexus point of people understanding what's happening is them studying QAnon. And QAnon, me even saying this is actually something that no one's been saying because they don't know, but QAnon actually is MJ12, is the organization MJ12 in the government, because the government MJ12 was created to infiltrate what people know as the Illuminati, but they're actually not the Illuminati, because the Illuminati are the ones that actually oppose the globalization and the old world order that was being rolled out. It's not a new world order. It's actually an old world order that has been being implemented on humanity to enslave them.
Okay. Well, my understanding, and I've dealt with MJ12, is that they are definitely made up of the Illuminati as well as other members. And there are a lot more than 12 members, just so people know. But they're split, actually, according to Dan Burish many, many years ago. And that does seem to be clear. And that is a split within the Illuminati. So I'm not sure what you're referring to here, because this is, you can call it the Old World Order, which of course it is, but it's also the New World Order, according to George Bush, what they wanted to bring forward. So what Trump is actually trying to put into place is the Republic and take down the corporation, as Paladin talked about. And that seems very clear. Also, again, with the Admiralty law being the gold fringe going away from the American flag, the idea that we're no longer also under the Queen and Britain, in essence. And so this is, it's kind of, I'm not sure if you were misspeaking, or whether I misunderstood you, but I don't know what you mean exactly. I think there's some confusion. If you're going to call this, what Trump's working on is technically not the New World Order. It may be a change, but the New World Order, as normally used, it was a phrase that and originally I believe it was George Bush that brought forward, senior, that is.
And that is correct, but part of the path to finding who the Illuminati are is actually realizing the propaganda about who the Illuminati actually are, and what the New World Order actually is. And the New World Order is actually that is actually a new world order, like, which is what everybody has been wanting. Which is happening right now, which is going to be the release of the technology and all that, because that is the actual New World Order. And that
Okay, so we're it's semantics in essence, but I think it will confuse people if you refer to that, because after many years of use of this term, it's not going to be useful for you and or anybody representing this change, this, going back to the Republic, etc., as a New World Order. That is going to definitely be a problem.
and they've actually been responsible for all the revolutions, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, and they are responsible for the revolution that's happening right now. And that is what I am trying to get forth, because I'm speaking against something that's been known for a long time. But the real Illuminati are the enlightened ones, and they are actually the ones that oppose the old world order, the globalization, Bush, all them, Obama, all them, all the people that are involved in like the secret societies. And because this is what's really going on, is who is really the Illuminati, because the Illuminati are the most secret society that there is, but people don't know that they're actually good. And that is the next step. That's the next step to understanding who the Illuminati actually are and who they're fighting. And who they're fighting is the global dynastic families that have been in control of humanity for all these thousands of years. And that's what
Well,
is actually.
I think it would be easier for you and certainly people listening to you if you basically talked about the dark and light magicians, so that those those can all be called Illuminati, and that's just a terminology that is kind of a bucket term for people that follow a certain protocol in terms of magic. And you're trying to refer to the some Illuminati members who are on the, what you're saying, on the light path, and I appreciate that. But just so you know, just and I think let's kind of dispense with those with terms and just talk about what's going on. So you are dealing with some, or are you? I guess you think you're dealing with certain on the light path, magicians on the light path. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. I know that I'm dealing with higher entities that are on the light path, but I've been involved in being infiltrated in the dark. And I've been involved in being involved with my super soldier life. I've been involved with being infiltrated in the ninth circle, which is like the most darkest secret society that there is. And Obama and Hillary and all of them are in that. And basically, being involved with being infiltrated, I have been involved in rituals where I've seen things that are being confirmed by WikiLeaks and all these things. So I've been involved in the one collecting information for that information to even come out.
Okay, and so in terms of your involvement, is this are you thinking this is using this physical body, or are you talking about using your light body, or how are you understanding your involvement in this way?
That is, yeah, because it's obviously a higher dimensional experience, because I'm sitting here talking to you right now, but I'm experiencing all these other experiences, time travel, all this stuff. But basically, it is involved with the light body. And part of the religions, actually, of the Palladians is raising your light body. And I've been involved in doing that for like 10 different years, but I can leave my body, I can astral travel. Obviously that was taught to me, and by in my super soldier experience. And I basically my consciousness can leave my body, but I can occupy other bodies, and I can remote view too, and not occupy bodies as well, because the astral is another realm that's actually going on, and that's where super soldiers actually operate the most.
Okay, and actually another term for that would be the fourth dimension. All right, well, in terms of your interaction on the 4D and with incoming AI, what's your understanding of AI right now and how you might be dealing with that?
Okay. So it's pretty clear, like with the AI, the whole plan and agenda that they have getting rolled out on humanity, because that's what is part of the agenda, is implementing AI into humanity for transhumanism. And that is done in many different ways, like whether it be 5G, cell phone. I mean, it's all connected. 5G, cell phones, chemtrails, because in the chemtrails they do nano technology in the chemtrails. People are breathing that in, plus the 5G on them. It just basically, the whole AI is being the weapon system, because it is a weapon, is being implemented on humanity right now by higher dimensional beings. and people can see the chemtrails everywhere, and plus the 5G towers everywhere. And part of the coronavirus was actually, 5G. The 5G was basically part of making that happen. And there is, basically the five the AI is being used as a weapon right now against the people, and it's an interdimensional thing.
Okay, and are you familiar? Have you been dealing with the Greys?
Um, not recently, because I mean I'm done with the Greys, because that was you know very far back in my life, like when I was 6 and getting abducted. I'm definitely dealing with higher beings now, because even now I'm remembering memories of being involved in as a super soldier, where I'm fighting Nordics, and they actually were fucking me up. They actually had the ability. They were able to lift me up telekinetically and just spin me around and throw me against a wall. So I mean that's what I'm dealing with.
Okay, but Nordics are not Greys.
No, they're not, but they are more advanced.
Right. Okay. Okay. It's just that my question was about the Greys. So you sort of changed the topic and moved on to the Nordics. All right. Fair enough. So in your dealings, are you actually having dialogue with individuals, either in the astral, as you call it, and do you recall these conversations that you're having, or or not?
Yes, and thank you for asking me that question, because it's very important. Because recently a memory just came back where I was speaking with a general in the Space Force. He was a U.S. Air Force general, and I was standing in front of him and speaking with him, and he basically was informing me what I was involved in, who I was involved with. I was involved with the U.S. Space Force, which is a branch of the Air Force. He was telling me this. He was also telling me that no one would believe me when I said anything, and then, but he said that I've been involved in something, where it is just so unbelievable, where no one will believe me. But I have had that interactions with many different people, but the most prominent was obviously the Space Force general, who was telling me basically that I was in the Space Force, and I always wanted to know who I was involved with and what I was doing as a MyLab super soldier. And it's been confirmed that I've been involved with doing good things and being a patriot.
Okay,
That.
all right, fair enough. Now, along those lines, do you think that you have inside knowledge about what is going on with Trump and his team and QAnon and also John F. Kennedy Jr.?
Yes, I do, and I can confirm that that is all true. Everything that's going on with Trump and QAnon and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the Tesla technology and everything is the truth. Because
Okay,
basically,
actually, Robert F. Kennedy is not John F. Kennedy Jr. You know, John, the one who supposedly died in the crash. So that's the Kennedy I was referring to. Just clarifying.
John F. Kennedy Jr. Uh, but anyway, you're talking about John F. Kennedy Jr.,
Yeah,
right? JFK.
I'm talking about, yes, who supposedly died in a plane crash. They say now that he faked the crash. He and Caroline, his wife, he published George magazine, etc. That he is working with Trump and he's actually part of QAnon. Have you heard that?
I have, and I am in not belief, but knowing that that is true. That is true, and it is true, though, because QAnon is the most confirming source of information right now that people of the masses can start to study, to start understanding what's going on.
Okay, and are you dealing with other super soldiers, so-called super soldiers, that you're familiar with and you're interacting with? I know there was one person that was thinking about coming forward but changed his mind. Are there others that you've been dealing with?
Yes, I have been dealing with other super soldiers and remembering memories of being involved with missions with them. And I'm actually even starting to come into contact with them in real life. And actually, I'm actually seeing them and going to them and visiting them. And memories are coming back. So I'm the 5%, that know what they're involved in are obviously looking for each other. And I did actually talk about a memory with you last time where I was actually involved in a raid. It was for Black operations, but QAnon confirmed this raid, and it was a raid in Borneo on the Clinton stronghold that was there. Because what's really going on is these people are running and they're hiding and things like that. And there was a Black Ops raid on that stronghold, and I remember a memory of actually the day before QAnon actually announced that this raid happened. That night, I remember a memory of being on a Black Ops team with 2 squads that were going into basically an underground sewer. And I remember being totally tacked out. And basically, I revealed that on your show. And then I had another super soldier get into contact with me that remembered the same memory and actually remembered me there with them. And they were obviously able to provide more information about what happened in that mission. And, that person actually was, we were scheduled to do an interview together, but they backed out because this is not something like what I'm saying is what I'm doing is not, it's not an disclosure. It's a very serious thing. And this person, he had information that obviously they didn't want to get out. So they did what they do to targeted individuals, and they gang stalked him and harassed him. So he basically dropped out.
Okay, now QAnon has said that July is sort of a very important month, and that it looks like it's more the end of July that they're going to come forward and announce certain things. Are you aware of that? And how do you feel about that? Do you know anything about that? And as part of the question, can you explain why it is you think you're allowed to speak about all of this?
Okay, thank you for asking me that, Carrie. Why I'm allowed to speak about all this actually brings up a memory that I had of meeting with Donald Trump. And obviously, I'm allowed to speak about this because this is part of the mission. This is part of disclosure. Like I'm one of the ones that has been authorized to give information out because I do remember meeting with Donald Trump and him discussing very classified documents with me, but basically telling me to take the stage, which is what I've been doing because they know what I'm doing. So that's the only reason why I'm able to come out, but I'm still attacked and I'm still targeted and things like that. But obviously, I'm definitely involved with the disclosure for the government and being allowed to say things.
Okay, and the first part of my question again was to do with them making announcements in July. What do you know about that?
It's funny that because I haven't heard anything about that yet because I have been doing other studies, but that sounds like what's going to happen though, because the timeline of what they have to unfold here is unfolding, and sooner or later they're going to have to come out with some information And July definitely does seem like a time. I've been having dreams where you know uh, basically it's confirming that they're gonna roll out the truth, which is gonna be the arrests and stuff. And I've had dreams about basically Barack Obama being ripped off the president's stand and being carried away by government agents. And that was basically my higher self relaying to me that, get ready for this because people are going to need to get ready for that.
Fair enough. So, in terms of anything else that you would like to talk about, anything specific that you have come across lately or that you wanted to be part of this discussion, and I haven't, touched on it by asking you a direct question, is there anything more that you would like to contribute?
Yeah, just like the final point is just like, being involved with the alliance and the white hats. And like the thing is when evil and the enemy is not fighting fair, you pretty much have to not fight fair too. And that is what's kind of involved in making all this happen is the sacrifices that are being made by people that are involved in this. It's like a real thing, very serious thing that's happening right now. And I just kind of wanted to definitely make that clear as how serious everything is that's happening right now. So, but otherwise, I definitely think that we definitely covered everything, in update, for this update.
Okay, now what we didn't cover is your own take on the so-called coronavirus. Any thoughts on that? Any information you may have been given?
Right. So, what I know about the coronavirus is they are definitely making it worse than it seems. Like the tests are set up a certain way to basically make more cases happening than are actually happening, and then they're blaming deaths that aren't related to the coronavirus actually to the coronavirus to make the numbers more. To make the numbers more, so to provide more fear. And in the Illuminati card game, there actually is a card called Pandemic, and it's Epidemic, and it's basically got the masks and vaccines on there and stuff. So this was all part of the plan being rolled out, but it's not what it seems to be, like everything is right now. But it is a real thing. It's people have died of the virus and stuff, but it's not as serious as they're making it out to be. It's a false flag.
Okay.
But it is an attack, biochemical AI attack.
All right. And some people are saying there is another strain of the virus coming through. I mean, actually, the nature of so-called viruses, if you even believe they exist, which is in question, actually. But if you do, some people are saying that it's mutating and there is another version coming out, that they want to continue the lockdown. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I have heard information that that's what it's doing. It is mutating, and there is another strain coming. And so, just be prepared for a continuation of this because I've heard information about it mutating and becoming another strain, and then them obviously being able to use that as a weapon of fear against the people to keep them under control, because that's what's going on. Is they're doing it, the darkness and the elite, they're doing everything they can right now to keep control, and we're actually witnessing that. We're actually witnessing that now in 3D.
Okay. And in terms of the near future, I said that announcements would be made in July, and that comes from the QAnon reports. So that's directly from QAnon and has been out there for a while now. And as far as I know, that time sort of stamp hasn't changed. They don't give us an exact date in July, however. But if that's correct, then in theory, that side would be winning if they were making announcements. At this time, they've been keeping everything quite close to the chest, as you may imagine, and they're not really revealing even the so-called wins behind the scenes. So this is a very short timeline. At this point, we're already kind of launching into May and getting closer to the middle of May. That's only like a month and a half away, July and so on. So there's not a lot of time left. Do you think that this is going to become more obvious? And have you had any corroborating information, as well as from other super soldiers, sort of saying that they believe that, you know, this game, this challenge that the Trump group has made towards the dark side is going to play out in a more obvious fashion in the next 2 months?
Yeah, definitely. Because like I just, the dam is about to break right now. You know, it's just about to break and everything's about to come out. You know, we've been waiting for this time. This is basically the omega point that we've, you know, been getting to. And, you know, in the, basically they knew that this was inevitable, this point that was happening. It was just like when it was going to happen. But it's getting, the time, it's getting closer now, you know, and as it gets closer, it's actually, getting, you know, quicker and faster to happening. So, you know, what we've been waiting for, which is disclosure, which, people, obviously they have different, thoughts on when that's going to happen. It's getting closer and closer now. And actually, I mean, no one does have a crystal ball. You can't see the future, but I mean, actually you can. I mean, you can see possibilities. But you know, it's very clear that the time that we've been waiting for is very at hand, and there's all sorts of signs everywhere, and the biggest one is everything being shut down. You know.
Okay, so the shutdown has happened, but things are reopening as we speak. And I assume that's going to continue, since that's what Trump wants, assuming that Trump is actually in charge. So is there anything else in terms of incidents? Because I have to say that certain remote viewers have seen a certain incident during this month. And I'm not going to say more about that. I'm just simply asking you if you're aware of that.
I think I might be aware of to what you're talking to, because I've had memories of some pretty extraordinary things happening, you know, that are more on the light side. So you know, anything could happen at this time. we're in that time now.
Okay. All right. And now I'm just going to go to the chat room and see if there's any specific questions that maybe people have. If you don't mind taking a little bit more time just to answer a couple more questions.
Yeah, I got all the time in the world.
Okay. All right. Okay. So stand by. I'm just going to scan the chat really quickly. If you have a question, please put a question mark after your statement or whatever. And if you can put caps, that would be really helpful. Just so I can catch the question quickly. So let's see. Well, one person is questioning NESARA. I've heard that the NESARA thing is actually BS. So what do you think?
My whole life path has been about understanding the reality of that. Jessera and Nessera, and the connection with Saint Germain and the Grand Jubilee and all of that. I've been involved my whole entire life in not only studying it, but knowing its truth. And I see it actually unfolding in my reality. like it is actually going to happen. And of course, there is misinformation, disinformation out there, that you're going to go through. But in the end, you will get to the truth, and then you will actually be able to not doubt what it is that is happening. And I do know through my personal memories and information gathering that is what is happening. Donald Trump, I remember being involved with I mean, that's what this is all about, is Nessera and Jessera. So that would be the one thing that they would not want people to know about.
Okay, well, perhaps there are different versions. This is my information. Now, someone is asking about whether you know anything about the Pope.
I've definitely been involved in missions in infiltrating the Vatican. I actually was involved in a mission where you can actually refer to it in on the internet. There was a group of 250 priests, exorcists, that were inducted into the Vatican, and I was actually involved in being infiltrated in that group of priests. But it is all the Pope is part of the evil plan. The Pope is part of it all, and the Catholicism is the most satanic religion that there is. So I can definitely attest to seeing things, being involved in being infiltrated, with children being kept in cages there, and obviously other interdimensional entities that had control over people there.
Okay, and last question. Someone in the chat wants to know if you believe there's going to be mandatory vaccinations. And let me say that if there were mandatory vaccinations, then Trump and team would have lost, in my view. So that's kind of a double-edged sword, but you can address the question.
That's a good question, because that's the thing, is we're at a point now where if mandatory vaccinations are important, I mean, people are going to have to rise up, and then that's going to be, I mean, this is a nexus point right now. And if people are going to accept the vaccinations, then they're slaves. But if they rise up, I mean, that's the whole point of ascension, is actually rising up and saying no. So if that does happen, which I don't believe that's going to happen because of the timeline we're on, there are many different things happening for that not to happen. But in the end, it actually is going to have to come down to the choice of the people. And unfortunately, I don't want to see the future where they're actually forcing vaccinations on people, because if they did that, I would say no, and I would be fighting till the end, because I know that it's not right.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Anthony, thank you for being on the show again, for bringing the information and insight that you have, and let's have you back in the future. Stay tuned to everyone, and thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Kara. I really do appreciate it, because I mean, even I know, I mean, I've had contact with the higher ups, and they basically have told me that I'm supposed to be talking with you. I've had the dreams about being in contact with you, so I know that we're doing a good thing with what we're doing. So thank you very much.
All right. You take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone for watching, and this is today's show. So it's Thursday. I don't have a guest for tomorrow, so this may be it for this week unless something goes on. I was interviewed yesterday, and that was by Chris Matthew, and he's with his own sort of channel called Forbidden News, and I think I'm missing the middle word there. But at any rate, it's on my YouTube channel and also on my projectcamelot.tv website. So you can always go to my website and find links and more information. I often put the bios of guests on my website, as well as links to their books, etc. So if you only go to YouTube, maybe you do miss some information about my guests. And so that would be advisable to also go to my website as well as my YouTube channel. And please do hit the bell, as they say, and subscribe. That also helps us. And so that's about it, I guess. For the moment, there's a lot of news coming out, and I am collecting all of the really important news that comes across my desk and posting it on a news and commentary column on my website. And so if you do go to the front page of Camelot, you should look on my blog. It's like a moving blog. The pictures, it's a carousel, as they call it. And then so they scroll around and click over to the news and commentary section. And any important videos, etc., should be in there also from the latest news. And for example, I think it was just last night or the day before, Joseph Farrell, many people will know him. He's an author, very prolific author. We interviewed him quite a long time ago on Project Camelot. And he is basically researching the whole Nazi involvement, etc., and the New World Order, and also the ET intervention here on planet Earth. At any rate, he made an announcement that was already in the news in Philadelphia about a murder that took place of a researcher, a Chinese, I think a Chinese-American researcher, who was about to discover something about the nature of the virus, so-called virus, and our cells. What I think he was going to be tapping into was the AI component that is part of the virus that Cyrus Parsa talked about, but I also had from not only my intuitive download, but also from other sources. And so he was murdered, and so was the person who murdered him was also found dead. So that was a hit. It does appear, and then the person who supposedly did the murder was like the fall guy, and they murdered him, although they tried to say it was a murder-suicide. And so that article is on my news and commentary area, and some explanation is there as well. So just have an eye out for that. One thing going on the internet right now is they are taking down a lot of the doctors' testimonies. So if you do come across a doctor's testimony that you think is valuable, please do record the video, make a copy so that you can upload it to BitChute or somewhere like that, so these videos don't get lost. I want to encourage you to do that. There seems to be an escalated shutdown on places like YouTube especially, but Facebook, Twitter, etc. So keep an eye out for good information that you come across. I'm trying to save all the links, but what happens is the videos do disappear. And this is very unfortunate, as you can appreciate, and a moving target. So anyone out there who is able to save videos and has the technique to be able to do it, and then my suggestion is to to put them on BitChute, which seems to be pretty permissible. I have a Project Camelot BitChute account there. And so we can upload it there, or you can create your own channel and do it all that for free over there. So just a heads up on that, because they are trying to shut us up, and there's an escalating sort of movement in that direction right now. I will say that Governor Cuomo is highly suspect. He's obviously a fully read-in Illuminati member of the dark side, so don't be deceived on that score. He's making statements in the press that clearly indicate this, and I've put out some recent information about that as well. So I think that's it. It's a very busy time. It's a very crazy time. Please do watch the latest interview with me if you're at all interested in getting the big picture, because I think I explain it fairly well there, and I've done a number of videos also beyond that you could find helpful if you're interested in things I'm coming across, information I have, and how I put it all together. And so thank you for supporting me during this crazy time, and take care, and let's hope for getting rid of the lockdown. All right? Okay, stand for truth, and let's, continue the journey. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.